We welcome you inside the broadcast booth here at Wilson Field on the campus of Washington and Lee University. Getting set for today's third round matchup of the 2025 NCAA Division III Men's Lacrosse Tournament Championship between number 7 Washington and Lee and number 10 Gettysburg. Ryan Connell here with you on NCAA.com. Washington and Lee got to the third round for the third straight season with a win yesterday on their home field by a final of 20-9 over Scranton. They got 5 points from James Haley, a first-half hat trick from Joey Allen, contributions up and down the lineup as the Generals cruise to a victory over Scranton by a final of 20-9. Gettysburg played in the second game of our doubleheader yesterday. They took on number 14 Stevens. They got 5 points from Jack Dunleavy, 4 goals from Jackson Alpaw as they won 15-9 over the Ducks of Stevens Institute of Technology to advance to today's third round game. So let's set the stage for today's matchup between Washington and Lee and Gettysburg. These two teams, very common opponents. They play each other almost every year in the non-conference dating back to 2018. This will be the 32nd all-time meeting between these two programs, with Gettysburg holding a 19-12 advantage over Washington and Lee in head-to-head matchups, including a win over the Generals earlier this season. Washington and Lee has lost just 3 games this season. One of them has come at the hands of the Bullets of Gettysburg, and that came right here at Wilson Field back on March 8th. We'll take a look at some of the highlights from that game. Gettysburg jumped out to a massive lead in that one. They got 7 first-quarter goals to lead by 7-3 after 15 minutes. They then added on to that in the second quarter as well, leading by a score of 10-5 at the half. Washington and Lee trailed by as many as 6 goals. They were down 13-7 before scoring 5 of the next 6 goals of that game to cut it to a 14-12 game with about 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Each team traded goals, so it was still a 2-goal game before Charlie Johnson delivered the dagger for Gettysburg with 3:37 left to put the Bullets in front 16-13, and that would be the final score between Washington and Lee and Gettysburg. Charlie Johnson paced the way for the Bullets offensively. He had a team-high 5 points on 3 goals and 2 assists. Jackson Barrell scored 4 times for Gettysburg. Ethan Kessler had 2 goals, and long-stick midfielder and senior captain Will Headley had a great game for Gettysburg. 2 goals, an assist, a couple of ground balls, and a pair of caused turnovers. Will Dunleavy, their leading scorer, was limited to just 2 points on a goal and an assist. Murphy Hoey made 13 stops while giving up 13 goals. One of the biggest points of weakness for the Bullets in that first matchup was faceoffs. They won just 6 of 32 faceoffs at the X against Washington and Lee, as their top faceoff guy, Cisco Salato, went down with an injury off the opening faceoff. So really, they had to scramble to get things going against Washington and Lee on faceoffs, and they just couldn't find a way to break through as Tyler Spano dominated faceoffs for Washington and Lee. He won 24 of his 30 attempts for 80%. The Generals were 82% as a team on faceoffs in the regular season matchup. On the other side of things, for Washington and Lee, Hillis Burns had a team-high 5 points on 4 goals and an assist. Robert Bath, the first-year midfielder, had 3 points, 2 goals, and an assist, while Joey Allen netted 2 goals for Washington and Lee. Their leading scorer, James Haley, held to just a goal and an assist in that first matchup, while Jack Elliott was held scoreless as part of the top unit midfield for the Generals. Washington and Lee also had 19 turnovers. We mentioned Tyler Spano and Thomas Moxley helping to dominate the faceoffs for the Generals. They also got 17 saves from Nick DeCane in a losing effort in goal, as Gettysburg got the better of Washington and Lee by a final of 16-13. So that sets the stage for today's game. It'll be just the 4th matchup in the NCAA tournament between these two programs. Gettysburg has won each of the last 2 times these two teams have met in the Big Dance, but the last meeting coming in 2009, back in the second round of the NCAA tournament. They have won both of their games in Gettysburg against Washington and Lee. The Generals have won the only NCAA tournament game held here at Wilson Field. That comes 25 years ago, back in the quarterfinals in 2000, where the Generals made it to the national semifinals back in 2000, and that was the 3rd straight year the Generals made the quarterfinals, something they're trying to do today as they've made the quarterfinals each of the last 2 seasons. Gettysburg looking to get back to the quarterfinals for the first time since 2022. Lots of storylines, lots of matchups, a very entertaining game on the docket as 2 top 10 teams go head-to-head for the second time this year. Coming up after the break, we'll have starting lineups in the opening face-off in the 2025 NCAA Division III Men's Lacrosse Tournament Championship between number 7 Washington and Lee and number 10 Gettysburg here on NCAA.com.
disproportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life from an academic perspective and the rigors of competing at a high level, bonding with teammates and building lifelong friendships. But they also are involved in their communities. They work jobs and internships and volunteer. They've learned to be resilient. Diverse experiences are setting them up for the future.
Passion's love. Passion is love for what you do. Because I think when you face challenges, it comes down to how much you want it and how much you love it. Passion is what keeps you going forward. Seeing so many people that were like-minded and so hardworking in their sport and academics, being surrounded by like-minded people makes you want to be more passionate. I think it pushes you to a different level that maybe you didn't think you had. You can do the best of both worlds and love all of it.
A good citizen is someone who wants to make a positive impact, both in their communities and in the world around them. The Division III approach is absolutely the best approach out there for amateur sport because it wants student athletes to explore all parts of who they are. Be successful in the classroom, be successful in competition, be successful in the community. So our student athletes learn what it means to strive for and attain success, but doing it the right way and being good citizens.
Comprehensive learning is being able to adapt to experiences and apply the things that I learned. Being an athlete and juggling academics helped me grow as a person, and things that I've learned, I was able to apply it in another field, putting them into everyday life. Developing comprehensive learning helped me prioritize certain things to make sure I get to where I want to be.
Responsibility is being accountable for your words and actions, first and foremost. It also is an obligation to be a positive influence in the communities around you. Being in a D3 program, you're going to have lots of different opportunities. You're not just an athlete, you're also involved in student life. Your academics are extremely important. We give a lot of our student athletes responsibilities right from the start by giving them leadership opportunities, by having them engage in the community, being a positive influence. That's being a responsible person.
I believe sportsmanship is a mutual admiration and respect for your fellow competitors. We all go through a lot to reach the point where we compete against one another. It's important to realize that. So once we're finally on the field or on the court or on the starting block, we look at each other as fellow human beings and not just competitors. Being able to recognize the hard work that other athletes are putting in creates a more positive and inclusive environment.
We welcome you here to Wilson Field on the campus of Washington and Lee University as we get set for today's NCAA Division III Men's Lacrosse Tournament third-round matchup between 10th-ranked Gettysburg and number 7 Washington and Lee. A spot in next weekend's quarterfinals on the line today as the Bullets and Generals collide here in Lexington. We say hello and welcome to NCAA.com. Ryan Connell joined by Shane Riley here with you at Wilson Field. And Shane, we have a fantastic matchup on the docket this afternoon. Number 10 Gettysburg and number 7 Washington and Lee. Both teams played each other earlier this year. You heard during the pregame, Gettysburg got the better of Washington and Lee by a final of 16-13. Let's meet the starting lineups for today, and we will start with the visiting Bullets of Gettysburg College, and it starts on attack with a freshman number 9, Jackson Barrel. He's joined by the senior captain, number 11, Jack Dunleavy, and freshman number 30, Jackson Alpaw. In the midfield for Gettysburg, it's Patrick Maroney, Jackson Hearn, and Ethan Kessler to start. On defense, Brian Del Duquetto, Andy Marquet, and Frank Barbera, with Murphy Hoey in goal for Gettysburg. Head coach Peter Toner in his 4th season in charge of the Bullets, who are 14-4 on the season and defeated Stevens yesterday by a final of 15-9 here at Wilson Field. As for Washington and Lee, 17-3 on the season, second most wins in a single season in program history. A win today for the Generals can tie the program record for wins in a season. Head coach Gene McCain in his 19th season in charge of Washington and Lee, and their starting lineup is as followed. The junior attackman number 9, James Haley, is joined by the junior number 12, Ben Ermshire, and the senior number 20, Hillis Burns. The top unit midfield for the Generals, senior captains Joey Allen and Jack Elliott, flanked by sophomore James Cardillo. On defense for Washington and Lee, it's Jay O'Keefe out there with Matthew Azell and Chris Datson. And in goal for the Generals is the sophomore number 8, Nick DeCane, making his 16th start of the season for the Generals in the cage here this afternoon. Washington and Lee in the home white uniforms, blue numbers and letters Generals across the front of their chest. They'll go left to right here in the first 15 minutes, while Gettysburg in the visiting blue uniforms with orange numbers and letters. They will go right to left here in the first period. Shane, before we get going here today, any keys to victory for the Bullets and Generals before Tyler Spano and Tate Custer get us underway?
We did talk about it a little bit in the pregame, but the Generals, the last time out, really struggled keeping the ball, had a lot of turnovers. I believe that was 19 turnovers in that last game. And then for Gettysburg on the other side, faceoffs were their biggest struggle. So for both teams, it's important early for Gettysburg to get off well with the faceoffs and for the Generals just to hold on to the ball.
So Tyler Spano for Washington and Lee, Tate Custer for Gettysburg, and it's Spano away with the opening draw for Washington and Lee. Spano goes straight to goal. Hoey the stop. Rebound picked up by Gabe Ryder. His shot over the net.
And right away, the Generals going out of the gates off the faceoff, just like we talked about. Spano going right up the gut, aggressive with his shot, and then another follow-up shot there that bounced over the goal, but the Generals are going to set up here on offense.
Washington and Lee able to cycle in the top unit midfield of Allen, Elliott, and Cardillo. James Cardillo, the sophomore, out there with the 2 senior captains for the Generals. He had 3 points yesterday, 2 goals and an assist. James Haley gets a touch for the Generals, their leading scorer this year for his 3rd straight 5-point game in the postseason. Here's Cardillo out in front, has it poked out of his stick, and the ground ball scooped up there by Andy Marquet.
Yeah, after that fast start from the Generals, a good job by Gettysburg, calming it down a little bit, getting their defense set up, and then Marquet able to force that one out, get them possession here.
Gettysburg will try and clear it through the middle of the field with Miles Balachandran. Stood up close to midfield, but dips under to complete the clear for the Bullets. Very eventful first minute of this game in their defensive end. Probably happy to have the ball to slow things down offensively, as out comes Patrick Maroney, Jackson Hearn to join Ethan Kessler in the midfield.
And you can imagine a game with stakes like this. The energy going to be high for both sides. We'll see who's able to control it best. Now with Gettysburg pushing up into offense.
Gettysburg, the last time these teams met, scored 7 times in the first quarter. That first shot goes wide from Kessler as he tried to beat DeCane low. It was a blitzing start from Gettysburg that put Washington and Lee on their back foot in the regular season meeting. Spearheaded by the attack of Griffin Johnson as well as Jack Dunleavy. That one knocked away. Scramble for the ground ball. As 3 players from each team around it, nobody can pick it up. Gettysburg does so with 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Backing it out is Alpaw with 4. Gettysburg just going to have to eat it here, and it's going to be an 80-second violation against the Bullets.
Yeah, that tie-up over there, nobody able to pick up the ball. That sort of doomed their possession there, not really able to get the ball back in front of goal, and the Generals will walk away with this one.
Washington and Lee clears it forward. And back out comes Allen and Elliott with Cardillo right behind him. Ben Ermshire, James Haley, and Hillis Burns on attack for the Generals. Mentioned Haley, another 5 points yesterday. All 3 postseason games the Generals have played this year, ODAC and NCAA tournament. Haley has had 5 points in all of them. Cardillo trying to get topside with his left. Finds Elliott off the side of the net. Picked up behind the net by Haley. And that pass in his direction gets deflected. I'll say that was a shot attempt, actually, from Joey Allen. So the Generals keep it here with 40 to work. Haley goes into a double team, and Marquet forces another turnover.
Yeah, great move there. That was Kassoff coming over with Marquet, and they sort of squeezed Generals there, great move there to steal possession back.
This team with a couple of players caught in the defensive end, trying to make some changes, and they will. Out comes Declan Mack, Stokes Myers, and that'll be Cooper Savoy with them. The second unit midfield today for Gettysburg, 31, 35, and 52. And that's the opening goal of today's game from Declan Mack.
And Mack comes right into this game, firing onto the net. Not the best angle there on the shot either, but just able to slip it right past DeCane on his near post. And an excellent goal to get this scoring started today.
A freshman, Declan Mack, with just his 8th goal of this season. Gives Gettysburg the opening tally here this afternoon.
And both teams coming out aggressive on offense, as you can see there by that move from Mack, and it working off for him that time around. See if the Generals are able to respond here.
This face-off knocked towards the WNL defensive end. The ground ball is spiked in the air. It comes right out in front, and Gettysburg scores again. Jackson Barrel makes it 2-0 Bullets.
And a favorable face-off there from Gettysburg. Good sign for them moving forward, and that just a great bounce that gets through every Generals defender. And then just a easy shot on goal. It's as easy as you like, 2-0 Gettysburg.
Jackson Barrel with his 36th of this season. 2 quick goals for the Bullets, 8 seconds apart. Makes it 2-0 Gettysburg. So Cisco Salato will get a chance here against Tyler Spano on the face-off for Gettysburg. These two will tie it up. Spano trying to win it back, and we have a holding call coming against Gettysburg. A violation will give it to the Generals. So 2 for 3 so far on face-offs for Washington Lee, but the one they lost resulted right in a quick goal for the Bullets. So we'll see the second unit midfield for the Generals, Riley Albricks, Robert Bath, and Byron Newman.
You got to think after that quick play from Gettysburg, the Generals will look to slow it up a little bit here on offense, just catch their breath after those 2 quick goals.
Burns trying to get to his right hand. Being berated there defensively by Del Duquetto. Willis Burns. Forced to reset here with Byron Newman. Newman going to work on the short stick. Newman, cross-handed shot off the side of the net. That's twice so far the Generals have caught the side of the net, and the rebound gets knocked back into the crease where Murphy Hoey can pick it up for Gettysburg. So the Bullets complete the clear up the far side of the field. They have a 2-0 lead 5 minutes into the opening period.
And those 2 goals coming within 8 seconds of each other. As we talked about, coming right off the face-off. So Gettysburg's offense certainly looking strong in the early going, just like they did in that first matchup earlier in the season against the Generals.
Maroney looking for any bit of separation, and he finds the top corner of the net. All Bullets here to start today in Lexington. Patrick Maroney makes it 3-0 Gettysburg.
And just as I was saying, the Bullets are able to find another one. Maroney just going back and forth, trying to find some open space, able to create it for himself, and then slept that one right into the top corner. The Generals will take a timeout.
Washington Lee going to talk things over just 5 minutes in. Patrick Maroney makes it 3-0 Gettysburg, and really the Bullets doing well to win individually 1-on-1 against the Generals there, and not much goalie Nick DeCane can do. The second goal, a loose ball that ends up in front of him, and on that one just gets beat to the top corner as the short stick in front of him got beat by Maroney for the 3rd goal of this game.
And even the Generals on offense are struggling to find some space. A couple shots, as we said, off the side of the net, but they've been kind of forced shots, not necessarily the best angle on them. Gettysburg has done a really good job of pressuring the Generals on offense, and then on the other side of the ball, the Generals are just getting beat right now, so you got to think Coach McCabe just wanted to talk it over and try to calm the guys down going into the rest of this first period.
Well, the Generals, Bullets will break the huddle. Washington Lee uses One of its 2 timeouts here, just 5 minutes in, but after giving up 3 quick goals to Gettysburg. Tyler Spano goes out for the face-off, but Tate Custer to oppose him here. Spano and Custer ready to get us back underway. This one loose in the feet. Swung to the near side, and Chris Datz swoops in to grab it for the Generals.
An early going faceoff still going the Generals' way, which is something that they always hark on.
Elliot Cohen has the first Washington and Lee goal of the afternoon. A transition chance for the short stick defensive midfielder, and Cohen makes it goals in 3 straight games.
Well, that's the perfect execution coming out of a timeout for the Generals. Get a good faceoff win, and then just running right down the throat of Gettysburg, slotting that one home into the bottom corner. The Generals already coming out with a good response after those 3 Gettysburg goals.
Just the 6th goal of the season for the junior Elliot Cohen. His 4th goal of the season came last Saturday, the overtime game winner against Lynchburg to win the conference championship. Had a goal yesterday in the 2nd round of the NCAA tournament, and he opens the scoring for the Generals here in the 3rd round today against Gettysburg. Face-off win for Tyler Spano. And the Generals will work through the back end of their field and try and move forward in their own defensive third. Center surface will leave off for Joey Allen. It's just what the doctor ordered out of the timeout for the Generals. A pair of face-off wins, a quick goal, and now another possession on offense. Here's a chance that bounces over the net by Allen. The Generals will retain possession.
A couple times now the Generals will try to bounce one in high both times, so perhaps some nerves on some of these shots.
Haley lost it on his way, getting back up from the ground. Elliott chips it on goal. Hoey got a piece of it, and we have a push here coming against Gettysburg, which will keep it with Washington and Lee.
And Elliott that time going with sort of an unexpected shot. Caught the goalkeeper off guard, but Hoey was able to knock that one off to the side.
Cardillo catches the pipe as he slides in. He also ends up in the crease. That'll be a violation against the Generals. Gettysburg able to clear it ahead. They have a 3-1 lead here in the first. Tom Levy off for Stokes Myers. Directing traffic there is Declan Mack. When Carr gets his first run of the day in the midfield for the Bullets. Gettysburg is able to find some openings early on. At 3 goals quickly against Nick DeCane on just 4 shots on target thus far. That one ends up out in front. DeCane getting a piece of that try from Myers as he shuffles it wide.
The Generals holding up well right now on defense. That time, able to get right on the goal was Myers, but DeCane, quick reaction to keep the defensive possession holding strong.
Myers again. Off for Mack. Don Levy out on the wing. Declan Mack trying to create. Myers ambushed there by O'Keefe. Back to Myers, long range shot off the post, and the rebound ends up right at DeCane's feet. Transition opportunity now for the Generals, 4-on-3. Cohen off for Jack Dalton, his shot wide.
And quick transition from Washington and Lee there. DeCane, fortunate that one didn't find the net, able to quickly find the ball, move it forward. The Generals will have to set up their offense here, though.
Burns for Elliott. Jack Elliott loads up and goes high.
Yeah, Elliott there, a little bit of hesitation. Didn't really realize that he had as good of a lane to shoot as he did there. He shoots that one well over the net.
Jack Dalton brings it back in. James Cardillo gets a touch. Elliott sees a double team come, able to get through. Hoey makes the save with the leg.
Yeah, Hoey's putting in a good shift so far. That one just sticking his leg out just a little bit and knocks that one right forward to a teammate.
Doing well to get really to the top of the crease and cut down the angle as much as he can from a point-blank shot. And he denies Elliott there for his fourth save of the afternoon here for Murphy Hoey in this first quarter.
He's done a really good job of creating tough angles for the Generals all day today. You can see another example of it there.
Now Michelik for Nicholas Lindberg. Lindberg, a bounce shot that scoots in. Lindberg, with his 10th of the season, makes it 4-1 Bullets.
Yeah, that one from such a far range out, really tough for DeCane to see till it gets right in front of him. And a ball that's moving that fast, I mean, that's just very tough to track. And Lindberg able to shoot one past DeCane for the fourth goal.
Nicholas Lindberg scores again today after a couple of goals yesterday. It's 10 for the freshman midfielder Lindberg on the year, and the Bullets again lead by 3, 4-1. Clean win for Tyler Spano on the face-off.
And shades of last game really for both teams. Gettysburg getting off to a really quick start. Generals, though, still dominating the face-offs.
And the extra possessions thus far have been Washington and Lee.
You saw Del Duquetto there pushing. Was that Dalton all the way back to the midfield with some tough defense there. Running some clock out for the Generals as well.
Burns for Haley. His high shot, Hoey got a piece of. Rebound picked up for Albricks. Robert Bath for the second time today for the Generals.
And really quick execution there from the Generals off of that deflection from Hoey. Just a quick pass around into Bath, and Bath, wide open lane, shoots it right past Hoey. And the Generals still trying to keep it close, only down 2.
Albert Bath had the best game of his first collegiate season this year against Gettysburg. Had 3 points, 2 goals, and an assist when they met in the regular season. He had 2 goals yesterday against Scranton, has the second Washington League goal today. And it's a 4-2 game with 4:40 left here in the first. Spano against Salado, and Tyler Spano away with another face-off for Washington Elite. He's 6 for 7 to start.
And just more of the same for Spano. We've seen it all season long. Obviously, we saw in the last matchup between these two teams, and like I said in the pregame, the Generals were able to limit the turnovers. We've seen a little bit of that from them today, but they're able to do that. The faceoffs will certainly help them get a better result than last time out.
So many more extra possessions you're able to get by winning faceoff after faceoff. Burns trying to make his way to the left. Hillis Burns skips it wide.
That one just bouncing just wide of the goal. Hoey there, no reaction to that shot, seeing that one was going to go wide.
There's James Haley with the short stick switched on him at X. Sees a second defender in his direction and passes out of it. Burns back for Haley. One more Cardillo. Around the horn it comes, and Cardillo can't find the net. Still 25 to shoot here for Washington and Lee as Hillis Burns will bring it back into play. Burns for Dalton in the slot, and the Generals score for the third time today. Hillis Burns sets up Jack Dalton, and it's 4-3.
And the Generals starting to find themselves a little bit here on offense. Dalton there, like you said, Ryan, sitting in the slot there, waiting for the pass. And he gets it right there, and that's easy as you like again for Washington and Lee. And Only down a goal here. Gettysburg have to tighten it up a little bit on defense, and the Generals finding their groove.
16th of the season for Jack Dalton as Hillis Burns picks up his 30th helper of the year. It's a 4-3 game with 3:33 left here in the first. Number 10, Gettysburg, a slight advantage over number 7, Washington and Lee. Tyler Spano gets ran over by Will Headley as Jacob Goldstein gets the face off. Goldstein wearing number 88 today, normally sports number 49 for the Bullets. A guy that took a lot of face-offs against Washington Lee in the regular season gets his first call today, and he just wins the second Gettysburg face-off of the afternoon. Gettysburg, after seeing a couple of goals from the Generals on back-to-back possessions, and their lead cut to just 1.
And one stat of note so far in this game is Gettysburg's shots to WNL's. WNL with 17 total shots, Gettysburg only 7, but 5 of those were on goal, only 8 for Washington and Lee.
That one gets blocked, hustling after it. Trying to get some extension there is DeCane, but Gettysburg had a couple players in the area. That one never made its way through on net. Caught some bodies in front. Back up top for Patrick Maroney. Bump there by Colin Beatty. Myers over the middle, jump shot, saved DeCane, rebound, saved again. Loose ball in front, tapped around, one more save for Nick DeCane. What a sequence there for the Generals netminder. 3 straight stops from Nick DeCane.
And just lightning fast reactions from DeCane there. First deflection, ball bounces right back to a Gettysburg player as DeCane comes up all the way into the midfield here.
It's just happened and trying to complete the clear, getting across midfield, just trying to find someone to get it to. He lost control of it close to the Gettysburg sideline. Just trying to close off the ground ball, and he turns it over. Now the net empty. The Generals defense going to retreat. Put some defenders in there as DeCane has to make his way back to goal. Dunleavy will just pass it around. Gettysburg and will settle it down. They were asking for a full reset on the shot clock. And now there should be a conversation here because the shot clock looked like it only reset to potentially 60 seconds, which means when there was 41 seconds left before they asked for the 80, it should be 61. And so if that's the case, they're going to come over and call upstairs to ask for that to be put back on the shot clock. Perhaps that seems to be the case, and it'll be 68 seconds what goes up on the shot clock since the turnover. Shot clock never reset. So with a minute and a half left here of the opening quarter in a 4-3 game, Gettysburg will try and stretch things out, take a little of the air out of this game perhaps to try and close out this quarter so they could really hold for a lengthy possession here.
Just before that stoppage, though, the chaos that ensued beforehand, DeCane, a few successive nice saves in a row, but then runs it all the way up into the midfield. Good job by the Generals defense to get back and not allow Gettysburg to capitalize on the open goal.
Myers trying to push his way against Blair Brennan. Myers will trade it off to Dunleavy and X. Under a minute to go here in the first. Dunleavy stood up by Izell. One more pass, and it's a goal for Alpaugh. Jackson Alpaugh makes it 5-3 Bullets.
And again, coming in with that bounce shot, keeping it low. Tough again for DeCane to see. Just slides it right past him. Good shot there from Alpaugh to get his scoring going for the day and give the Bullets a 2-goal cushion.
Freshman Jackson Alpaugh, his 18th of the season. This is a guy that is making just his 7th start of the year and doing so in the NCAA tournament. Face-off win for Gettysburg.
Gettysburg starting to find themselves a little bit on the faceoffs here. Still down on the total tally, but one in the last couple. We'll see how that continues to transpire as this game goes on.
There's one on a try to the net coming from Alpaw, and he goes wide. .8 seconds left, and there's a second ball here on the turf, so Dats will drop one behind. Generals trying to really push it up through the middle of the field, and that one tipped by Barrel. Perhaps is going to eat the rest of the time of the quarter, and it will. Gettysburg going to take a 5-3 lead over Washington and Lee here through 15 minutes as the Bullets have struck 5 goals here in the opening quarter as they lead Washington and Lee by 2. 10th ranked Gettysburg 5, Washington and Lee 3 here in this third round of the NCAA tournament on NCAA.com. Start of the second quarter here at Wilson Field in Lexington, Virginia. Our score, number 10, Gettysburg 5, number 7, Washington and Lee 3. Very eventful first 15 minutes. Ron Connell and Shane Riley with you here on NCAA.com. The Generals fell behind. Gettysburg jumped out to a 3-0 lead. Washington and Lee called the timeout. They scored the next couple of goals. But Gettysburg with a late tally there in the first period to go back up by 2 after 15 minutes.
And it's been mostly dominated by Gettysburg. First few goals came out firing, scored a couple quick ones after they got into the feel of the game. But then, as you said, the Generals were able to respond. So this one looking like it's going to be a tight one all the way through, and we'll see if Gettysburg is able to maintain this lead.
This faceoff flung forward and controlled by Gettysburg as Tate Custer able to check that. That's Jacob Goldstein able to get a faceoff win for Gettysburg. So they start with the ball here to start the second period as they roll back out the midfield trio of Maroney, Hearn, and Kessler. Alpaw around here for Kessler. That shot coming from Dunleavy, at least getting part of the net. Now get a full 60-second reset for the Bullets. Kane stayed glued to that near post as well, and they'll credit him with his 4th save of the afternoon. This one comes up top, Kessler, and DeCane grabbing a piece of that one too. So the Bullets testing the Generals netminder. A lot of shots from distance. That one coming from Alpaw, stopped by DeCane.
DeCane not troubled by any of those Gettysburg shots that time around. A few saves on that possession and some big stops for the Generals just to keep this game at 2 goals and give themselves a chance to get within 1 on offense on this possession.
James Cardillo, Jack Elliott, Joey Allen all enter the fold here in the midfield. As the Generals all working around with Ermshire, Burns, and Haley as well. For Washington only, 3 goals in the first 15 minutes, but 5 stops for Murphy Hoey, including a couple of big ones for Gettysburg in that first 15 minutes. Haley has it at X behind the net. As he waits to look over his options. He finds Ermshire, and that shot goes wide of the target, and Marquet with the hustle to track down the ground ball and get a full possession here for the Bullets.
Yeah, on that possession, Hoey facing the other direction, so Generals had a chance there for a quick pass and maybe catch him off guard. The shot that time, though, just wide.
So Gettysburg clears it through the middle of the field successfully as they lead it 5-3. Nicholas Lindberg, who has a goal this afternoon, re-enters. He's out there with Luke Barbera as well as Matt Michelik. Lindberg to his right. Alpaw goes 5-hole. Second goal at 8 for Jackson Alpaw. Makes it 6-3 Gettysburg.
Yeah, that one looked like it caught DeCane a little bit off guard there. Alpaw quickly swinging around and throwing that one. It looked like it got between his legs there as well. Just a tough spot for DeCane to get down to. And the Bullets right now looking really efficient on offense. 15 shots, 12 on goal, and they're really making DeCane work back there.
6 goals and 6 saves for Nick DeCane for Washington Elite, but he has been, as you mentioned, Shane, adequately tested thus far from Gettysburg. Goldstein and Spano on the face-off. And Spano will come away with this one for the Generals. Tries to swim his way through the middle of the field and forward. Gabe Ryder runs into a blockade of Gettysburg defenders, and he can't corral the ground ball. Now a transition opportunity for Gettysburg. And that one going wide of the net from Kyle Trainer.
Gettysburg getting out quick there on the counter. DeCane, though, had that net covered pretty well. Trainer shooting it wide, but Gettysburg again here on offense, a chance to push it to 4.
One of the things that plagued Washington Lee in the first go-around was turnovers even after face-offs won, and that was a perfect example of it right there. Tyler Spano wins possession, and the Generals bringing the offense in. They cannot keep it. A try from Mack goes over the net and out. Now back in here by Dunleavy. Backside, this is Stokes Myers. Now Jackson Hearn. Hearn knocked away by Datsun Ryder.
And it's possessions like these where the Generals have really found success on defense when they're able to force Gettysburg into some tough looks and not fall for some of their quick moves.
Dunleavy over the middle. Myers hits the side of the net. And the Generals come away with the loose ball.
Possessions like those allow a team to perhaps force some bad shots or some errors there. And now the Generals trying to get on the counter, but turn it over again.
O'Keefe gives it right back. As the long pull gets caught with the bad pass there. Now a chance for Gettysburg. An opportunity and a goal. Jackson Barrel makes it 7-3 Bullets.
And turnovers are just killer right now for Washington and Lee. As you talked about, O'Keefe trying to force the issue a little bit up front. Loses control of it, and then Barrel able to get around his man and a wide open look onto goal. The Bullets right now really firing on all cylinders.
It's a 7-3 Gettysburg lead. 10:24 left here in the second quarter. Third round of the 2025 NCAA tournament. Tyler Spano with the face-off for the Generals, and he's able to get it over for Hillis Burns as the Generals want to make some midfield changes.
And smart decision there from Burns. Obviously the Generals trying to make some changes, but just really do need to slow it up. Last couple possessions, they've been moving a little quick and not able to hold on to the ball. Some inaccurate passes and just some plays where they really force the issue when it's not necessary.
Yeah, the last 2 times the Generals have had it, they've turned it over, but it's been right as they brought it in the offensive end. It's immediately give it right back. So not really any sustained offensive zone time. Burns trying the individual effort here against Barbera. He finds Jack Elliott, and that one goes over the net. I'll say no reset there, so no save, just a shot that got away. That pass deflected and stolen.
And Gettysburg look like they're starting to frustrate Washington and Lee a little bit now. On the offensive side of the ball, just some really good pressure and forcing some tough plays, some tough passes. And even there, you can see maybe there's some of the frustration getting to Washington and Lee.
Flag flying as J.P. Mayo completes the clear ahead for the Bullets. So a delayed penalty coming here against the Generals, already trailing by 4, and Gettysburg with possession. Ethan Kessler trying to utilize a little time. He goes around the screen. Sees a second defender come. Kessler adds another. It's all Bullets here in Lexington. 8-3 Gettysburg.
The Generals are just flustered right now. Kessler with just a nice move. Again, another spin move towards the middle. And these Generals defenders just unable to react in time to Kane. Again, sort of left on his own there to make the play and unable to come up with the save there. And the Bullets right now just getting absolutely everything they could have asked for so far through a period and a half.
And so the rest will pick up the flag because of the goal. The penalty will not carry over, and Washington Lee will use its second time out of the first half as they trail by 5, 8-3.
And it really has, as we just said, been all Gettysburg, able to frustrate Washington and Lee on offense. The Generals have been able to get some good looks, but some inaccurate shots here and there. As you take a look at the stat sheet, 19 shots, only 8 of which have been on goal. And you got to think the Gettysburg pressure for a lot of that struggle. And then on the other side, the Generals just unable to get in front of Gettysburg. Their players able to maneuver and get open looks. And DeCane's done a good job for what he's had, but still 8 goals getting past him. So far, Gettysburg getting everything they want.
Washington Elite and Gettysburg, a third-round matchup here today at Washington and Lee. Some other third-round games taking place around Division III men's lacrosse this afternoon as well. All those, handful of those with 3 o'clock start times. Those include the likes of Tufts St. Lawrence, Wesleyan RPI, and RIT St. John Fisher, as well as Christopher Newport Lynchburg and Bowdoin Amherst. We'll give you some out-of-town scores coming up at the halftime break. We'll also dive more into the first half stats. And so far today, it has been all Gettysburg against Washington and Lee. They lead it 8-3 in the first half and have been dominating for a portion of this game. It was a 5-3 game after one. 3 more goals here to start the second for Gettysburg. It's a 4-0 Bullets run that's taken it from a 4-3 game to an 8-3 game.
And it's important to note that in the first matchup, the Generals did have a big comeback late in that game, but of course you never want to put yourself in that type of situation. Still plenty of time left to go in this one before you start talking about big late game comebacks, but the way this game's going, the Generals are really going to have to put a stop to this bleeding because Gettysburg are looking to go for the kill here, already up by 5 goals.
Custer and Spano set to battle on the face-off here. And Spano is going to get called for a push. That'll be possession for the Bullets. Gettysburg, who is now coming away with 6 of 14 face-offs, still below 50%, but much better than they fared against the Generals in the regular season matchup where they won less than 20% of the face-offs.
In the last few, they've been winning out with some pretty decent success. The Generals dominated it early, but been much more even going into this second.
Maroney up top, Kessler. DeCane able to get a deflection on that one.
An excellent reaction there from DeCane. That was a missile sent in by Kessler, but DeCane able to get to that low corner and bounce that one out of play.
8 saves already here in the first half for Nick DeCane. He's been heavily tested. That will be save number 9 as it goes over the net. And Gettysburg will take a timeout once they regain possession. Similar to what happened in the last meeting, and it's hard to keep going back and forth on that, but Nick DeCane made 17 stops in that game and gave up 16 goals. The Generals lost 16-13, but the fact that he faced 33 shots on goal is something that in more recent games the Generals have really improved about in terms of allowing fewer shots on goal, but so far today, Gettysburg peppering the net. 17 of their 22 shot attempts have been on target.
Yeah, and as you're saying, you don't really want to always keep comparing it to the last game. This is, of course, a new game, but that number projecting right to go back where it was last time around. I mean, already 17 with only still 7 minutes to go in this first half. If the Generals are not able to clear up their defensive effort and what makes some of these shots a little bit tougher for Gettysburg, this one's going to look to be a tough one for Washington and Lee, especially if their offense isn't able to keep going. But yes, as you said, 17 shots on goal. That's just an absolutely absurd amount still, with a whole nother half to be played after these 7 minutes.
Gettysburg has possession in the offensive end after they utilize one of their 2 timeouts here in the first half. 7:40 to play before halftime, and an 8-3 lead for the Bullets. Goal and assists for Nicholas Lindberg. 2 goals for Jackson Barrel, 2 for Jackson Alpaw. A host of contributions of a point from a variety of other members of this Bullets team. And they bring it back into play. Nearly a fresh full 60 seconds to work with, and a 5-goal lead. Myers forced wide by Elliott Cohen. Goes down low to Dunleavy. Dunleavy gets to his left. His shot wide of the net. Brought back in here by Myers. Round it goes for Lindberg. Kessler moving right. And that shot wide. So just 8 seconds to work with here for Gettysburg, as that does not get a 60-second reset. Dunleavy, wraparound try off the side of the net, and Washington and Lee wins back possession.
And DeCane, I think he was expecting that little quick attempt there. Good work to get back and win possession for the Generals. It's exactly the kind of possession Washington and Lee are going to need to duplicate a lot more of. But certainly a good start moving forward.
Jack Elliott brings it forward for the Generals. Try and get something working on this possession. Elliott right in front, denied by Hoey.
And Hoey again, his use of his legs there, coming up big, and now a transition opportunity.
Flag behind the play. Long stick, and it's a goal for Andy Marquet. The Bullets just keep pouring it on here in Lexington. 5 straight unanswered from Gettysburg. Make it 9-3.
And these transition attempts are really getting into Washington and Lee. They have their own chance right in front of goal. Just a few moments before, we're unable to get the deflection. And then just quick transition play from Gettysburg, absolutely knifing through that Washington and Lee defense and continuing to extend that lead.
Oh, interference is the potential call there. I'll say it again because of the goal that negates the penalty, but a stop on one side from Murphy Hoey, a transition opportunity for Gettysburg the other way, and the Bullets capitalize going early. That time was Custer, so the faceoff goes to the Generals. 6:09 left here before halftime, and it's now 9-3 Gettysburg.
Really, the only positive note for Washington and Lee again is that faceoff margin, still winning that one four more wins rather than they have than Gettysburg, but that's really all that they've had today. See if they're able to try to stop the bleeding here and stop Gettysburg scoring run.
Robert Bath with it for the Generals. He has one of the 3 Washington Elite goals today, but he turns it over. Time Barbera helping to cause a turnover. Gettysburg completes the clear and try and slow it down.
It's really impressive what Gettysburg's been able to do defensively so far today against the Generals. They just seem to have their number, just understanding what they're trying to do and making it almost impossible for the Generals to get any good looks, and now they find their own here on offense.
Luke Barbero for Alpaw, and Duquesne able to get his hands on that one. A really nice save on point-blank opportunity for Jackson Alpaw. It's the 10th save of the first half for Nick Duquesne.
And I should add, Duquesne has also been a good bright side for Washington and Lee, making a lot of big saves, and if he wasn't doing the work he's doing back there, this game could be a lot more ugly.
James Haley with it for the Generals. Stubinall just searching for something on the offensive end. They've been held scoreless here in the second period and have seen Gettysburg score 4 straight goals. Joey Allen hits the crossbar, and Gettysburg gets possession.
And that ball deflected all the way out of the field. Some serious power by Joey Allen, but just again, unlucky there for Washington and Lee, bouncing all the way out. Really nothing they could do there to get possession.
Gettysburg gets it across midfield. Bullets can turn it back with 4 minutes to play before halftime. They have scored 5 straight goals here in this since the last goal of the first period, and all 4 here of the second to stretch this from a 4-3 game to 9-3. That one off the side of the net from Dunleavy. Comes back out in front, and that's another goal for the Bullets. Looks like Lindbergh was the one to get that goal, and it's 10-3 Gettysburg.
And Gettysburg rotations right now, and just their ball movement much too quick for Washington and Lee to recover. There's too many people standing around, not getting on somebody, and once again, the Bullets finding the back of the net.
6 straight unanswered goals from Gettysburg. They lead by 7, 10-3, with 3:42 left before halftime. Tyler Spano wins the faceoff for the Generals. Spano over the net. There's Joey Allen. Allen, left-handed shot, misses the net.
Generals now still forcing the issue a little bit. Not too many passes on these possessions. They're gearing up for a shot right away.
Ellis Burns off for Allen. Hoey gets a piece of that one. A save of the first half for Murphy Hoey. Dalton on the re-entry. Now Burns. Burns. That shot deflects and will roll wide. Gettysburg will settle it down in the corner and keep it in play. So the Bullets bring it across midfield. They can ease things up here. 7-goal lead. 2.5 minutes left before halftime. Number 10, Gettysburg in front of number 7, Washington and Lee.
This has really just been a perfect start to this game and really a perfect second period from Gettysburg. We talked about the unanswered scoring streak that they're on right now, but also giving up no goals on the other side.
A try from Myers. Misses the net.
Be interesting to see how both these teams come out of the second half. Really important for the Generals to get off to a quick start, but they want to try to start that here with these final 2 minutes.
Back for Dunleavy. Dunleavy to his right hand to Kane with the stop. Now Washington and Lee can rush ahead. Colin Beatty loads up, and he misses the net.
The Generals continuing to struggle to find the back of the net or even some on-target shots. Up to 11 shots on goal, but 26 total shots.
Burns lost the ball and then ran through his defender, and the penalty flew. It looks like there's a penalty coming here against Hillis Burns. So first man up opportunity coming for Gettysburg. And Burns will take his seat for a penalty.
It's a pretty big collision between Burns there and his defender.
And since it's contact to the head, that's a non-releasable 2-minute penalty. And so for the final 90 seconds here of the second, Gettysburg will be a man up, and that'll carry over into the first 30 seconds of the third as well. And they will use their final timeout here in the first half. Talk things over with a 2-minute non-releasable penalty coming here against the Generals.
And Washington and Lee, I think the frustration just getting to him a little bit there. Burns, big collision to the head area. He's going to be out, as we said, for those 2 minutes, but it's going to be really important for the Generals to try to hunker down on defense. You got to try to stop the bleeding at some point. If you can get through the rest of this half without giving up another goal, that's something to build on moving forward. But for Gettysburg, it's really been just straight dominance in this first half, and you got to think with these 90 seconds, they're going to try to force the issue as much as they can and keep building on that lead.
For Gettysburg, 10-3 our score. They lead by 7, and they have a 2-minute man-up opportunity looming as they use their final timeout here in the first half. They have scored 6 straight goals dating back to the first period. They've outscored Washington Lee 5-0 here in the second. They have their largest margin of the day, 7, with just 90 seconds left before halftime. It's been all bullets today. 3 different players with at least 3 points. Harvey Hoey's also thrown in 8 saves in goal for Gettysburg. They just have found a way to just keep scoring time and time again and stretching this lead to now as many as 7.
And they just really made life difficult for the Generals all day. Like I said earlier, forcing tough passes, tough shots. And the Generals have just not really duplicated that on their side of the ball on defense. Gettysburg getting some easier looks, and that's allowed them to build this lead and make the Generals probably second-guess themselves a little bit at some moments.
So the non-releasable penalty against Burns. 2-minute man-up chance for Gettysburg. We'll have it here to start. And they'll use some time here to Stokes Myers with the ball in his stick just close to midfield. 6-on-5 opportunity for 2 minutes, non-releasable penalty, which will carry over at least to start the third. But Gettysburg, they milk some time first, knowing they got a full 80 seconds here to work with this shot clock. And the last thing you want to do is give an opportunity to the other team in the other direction, even though they're down a player. Just want to be able to limit the amount of opportunities that you give up and keep the ball for as much of this 2-minute opportunity as you can.
And they haven't really needed the full shot clock to get good looks on offense. They've really been quite efficient and just...
And that one hits the crossbar from Luke Barbera. Rattles the whole cage that time.
That's sort of what I'm trying to get at. They've just been excellent with their shot attempts, very accurate, and you can see another example of that there, inches away from going in.
So they're asking for the clock to start here, and the clock will start. So Stokes-Myers just holds on to it here with about 20 seconds or so left. It seems like Gettysburg is maybe content, at least for now, to just take this lead into halftime with 10 seconds left.
And I think Washington Lee will absolutely take that as well. Interesting decision from Gettysburg. Up a man, still deciding not to go at it on offense, and giving the Generals most of that penalty taken away.
So Gettysburg, the full first half of highlights for the Bullets. 10 goals in the first 30 minutes. They lead by 7 over number 7 Washington Lee, 10-3.
Yeah, Gettysburg just doing everything that they absolutely could have hoped for out there on the field so far. Suffocating on the defensive side and then just knifing and so potent on offense as we've seen so far in this one. Holding the Generals to no goals in that second period, scoring, was it 5 or 6 themselves in that period. So Gettysburg could absolutely everything they could have hoped for. And for Washington and Lee, just really an abysmal first half on both sides of the ball. DeCane has been really good in the back of the net. And, of course, faceoffs have been a bright spot, but everywhere else has just been a struggle for Washington and Lee. But we've seen them as a second-half team sometimes this season, so we'll see what they're able to do coming out of the half.
It's 10-3 our score after 30 minutes of lacrosse. Number 10 Gettysburg leads number 7 Washington and Lee 10-3. The Bullets have scored 6 straight goals, including 5 in that second period, to outscore Washington and Lee and take it from a 1-goal game to a 7-goal halftime margin. We will step aside. When we come back, we'll have some first half stats, check in on all the out-of-town scores around Division III men's lacrosse, and get you ready for the second half between number 10 Gettysburg and number 7 Washington and Lee here on NCAA.com.
Proportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life from an academic perspective and the rigors of competing at a high level, bonding with teammates and building lifelong friendships. But they also are involved in their communities. They work jobs and internships and volunteer. They've learned to be resilient. Diverse experiences are setting them up for the future.
Passion's love. Passion is love for what you do. Because I think when you face challenges, it comes down to how much you want it and how much you love it. Passion is what keeps you going forward. Seeing so many people that were like-minded and so hardworking in their sport and academics, being surrounded by like-minded people makes you want to be more passionate. I think it pushes you to a different level that maybe you didn't think you had. And you can do the best of both worlds and love all of it.
A good citizen is someone who wants to make a positive impact, both in their communities and in the world around them. The Division III approach is absolutely the best approach out there for amateur sport because it wants student athletes to explore all parts of who they are. Be successful in the classroom, be successful in competition, be successful in the community. So our student athletes learn what it means to strive for and attain success, but doing it the right way and being good citizens.
Comprehensive learning is being able to adapt to experiences and apply the things that I learned. Being an athlete and juggling academics helped me grow as a person, and things that I've learned, I was able to apply it in another field, putting them into everyday life. Developing comprehensive learning helped me prioritize certain things to make sure I get to where I want to be.
Responsibility is being accountable for your words and actions, first and foremost. It also is an obligation to be a positive influence in the communities around you. Being in a D3 program, you're going to have lots of different opportunities. You're not just an athlete, you're also involved in student life. Your academics are extremely important. We give a lot of our student athletes responsibilities right from the start by giving them leadership opportunities, by having them engage in the community, being a positive influence. That's being a responsible person.
I believe sportsmanship is it's a mutual admiration and respect for your fellow competitors. We all go through a lot to reach the point where we compete against one another. It's important to realize that. So once we're finally on the field or on the court or on the starting block, we look at each other as fellow human beings and not just competitors. Being able to recognize the hard work that other athletes are putting in creates a more positive and inclusive environment.
For the love of the game. That's what it's all about, they say. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that. A lot more.
Sure, the game is important, but as we work so hard to build both mind and body, it's more about team and the schools and communities we represent.
And for the many of us blessed with the strength to compete in sport at the college level, we understand that with what we were given comes a special obligation.
An obligation not merely to work towards a personal best in the classroom or in the sport we love, but rather an obligation to help those who have their own special needs and whose love for the game is no less intense.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics. For Special Olympics athletes, victory belongs not only to those who first cross the line, but to all of those who compete and endure.
They are challenged in ways we cannot imagine. They are survivors who test themselves harder and with greater joy than we will ever know.
Since August of 2011, we and others from Division III campus communities have volunteered more than 250,000 hours, time away from the classroom and practice field, reaching across the country to coach and mentor Special Olympics athletes.
And to learn, as we all do, that in giving we receive so much more in return.
Sport ennobles us, and in giving the gift of sport to those for whom it seemed an impossible dream, we are working to make this a better world.
Help us keep that dream alive.
Be part of it.
Get involved.
You can make a difference.
When you're in college, you kind of find out who you are. And throughout your 4 years, you develop yourself with all the different experiences, which leads into dedicating yourself to your community, to your family. So when you're a senior, you're coming out a well-rounded person.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests outside of the classroom and outside of the court or field. I've had the ability to get into different activities and organizations, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
Getting to be involved in a lot of different things, ranging from obviously being a student athlete to getting involved with my campus and my community, and not only being allowed to do that, but being encouraged to do that.
The opportunity to be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, to have the professors know me on a personal level, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person, I can make a difference. It really helps you develop thinking from other people's perspectives and looking at problems from outside the box.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
I've definitely learned how to really be myself. I found out, yes, I am actually a good leader, and yes, I can actually put myself forward because I am good enough. I can do it.
Coming in to college, I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of different career goals, and I've learned so much about myself that I was always like growing and changing.
When I got to college, it forced me to step up and become more of a leader. And I think that was something I had the capability of doing. And forever grateful that being at a Division III school gave me that opportunity.
You have to dedicate your time in the classroom. You have to dedicate your time in the gym, on the field, on the court.
Our coaches and the entirety of the athletic department, they valued the student athlete going out into community and trying something new and getting involved in campus life.
You can get involved in so many different things. So the possibilities are truly limitless for what you can do with your college experience. You can kind of make it your own in the Division III setting. So I would encourage people who want to have flexibility to pursue different interests and passions to go D3.
I used to never really talk, ever. I was afraid if I said something wrong, everyone would laugh at me. But then I started to play golf with Special Olympics. It helped me to find my voice. and now everyone else is speechless.
Welcome back to Wilson Field here on the campus of Washington and Lee University for today's third round matchup of the 2025 NCAA Division III Men's Lacrosse Tournament Championship. Our score: number 10, Gettysburg 10. Number 7, Washington and Lee 3. Ryan Connell and Shane Riley with you on NCAA.com as we dive into some of the first half stats. The Bullets, 6 more shot attempts than the Generals. They've also had twice as many shots on goal than Washington and Lee. 8 saves for Murphy Hoey in goal for Gettysburg. He's given up just 3 goals. All of those came in the first period, while Nick DeCane has made 11 stops despite giving up 10 goals for Washington and Lee. And single-handedly has also kind of been the reason the Generals are still within kind of striking distance despite being down 7.
Yeah, he's really been, like you said, one of the bright spots for Washington and Lee. Coming up with a lot of big saves and some good reactions to some of these tough Gettysburg shots because they've been able to get a lot of them. As we said, 32 shots. Just a lot of pressure that he's been facing. And then for the Generals on the other side of the ball, they've just not been able to equal that pressure that Gettysburg has been put on them. So you got to think Coach McCabe really tried to stress that in the locker room at halftime. Got to get more pressure, got to get more goals. Of course, being down 7. And for Gettysburg, coming out of this half, it's really just going to be more of the same for them. Putting pressure on Washington and Lee, making it difficult for them to get good looks. They've done a really good job of that all day today. And then on the other side of the ball, it's really been easy for them on offense a lot of the time, getting so many shots, and they've had so many good looks with already 10 goals.
You see Gettysburg 100% on clears, WNL 90%. The Generals have won 2/3 of the faceoffs so far today, but 9 Washington Lee first half turnovers, just 2 for Gettysburg, and 6 of those 9 turnovers caused by Gettysburg defenders. So some good defense to go along with the fact that the Generals have struggled to kind of hold on to possession at times as well. Some individual statistical leaders for Gettysburg: Jackson Alpon, Nicholas Lindbergh, and Jackson Barrow, all with 3 points, 2 goals, and an assist for all 3 of them. Goals from Kessler and Mack, as well as Maroney and Marquet. And just an assist for Michelik thus far. 8 saves for Murphy Hoey. For Washington and Lee, goals from Robert Bath, Elliott Cohen, and Jack Dalton. And assists to Riley Albrechts and Hillis Burns. That's it for the Generals. 11 saves for Nick DeCane, as Gettysburg has scored the last 6 goals of this game, including shutting out Washington and Lee in that second period, outscoring them 5-0. Talking about some other scores around Division III men's lacrosse. Take a look at the bracket here. A lot of other games started at 3 o'clock Eastern time and some halftime scores. Tufts leads St. Lawrence 6-4. As that is the winner of this game gets the winner of that game in the quarterfinals next week. In the bottom left, Christopher Newport up 15-4 on Lynchburg in the third round over Newport News Virginia Bowdoin. 12-0 advantage over Amherst early third quarter there. Top right of your bracket, Salisbury Dickinson coming up later tonight. They'll play the winner of RPI Wesleyan. RPI leads Wesleyan 8-4 at the break. RIT in Rochester leads St. John Fisher 10-7. They play the winner of York Cortland, which is the nightcap tonight at 7 p.m. And you can find all those scores and all those games on NCAA.com. Ryan Connell and Shane Riley here with you, as it'll be Gettysburg ball to start the third period because of a non-releasable penalty against Washington and Lee. Still 30 seconds left on the man-up opportunity. Gettysburg will get the ball to start this third period. There will be no face-off here to start the third, and they'll have 30 seconds to work still on this man-up try, with Hillis Burns off for a contact to the head. And the third period underway here at Wilson Field.
And a little less than 30, though, on the shot clock, so they are going to have to finish their possession just ahead of the man-up penalty ending.
Working around here, 6-on-5, first possession of the second half for Gettysburg. That one knocked away by Nick Garcia, scooped up by Ryan Donahue. He's leveled, and a flag flies, and that'll be touched up and a penalty against Gettysburg, as Donahue got hit under the chin there. And we'll see what the call is here against Gettysburg, but W&L forces a turnover to kill off essentially the rest of the man-up opportunity. And it's a slashing penalty for 1 minute against Dunleavy. So about 5 seconds left on the penalty against Burns. So Washington and Lee will play 5-on-5 for 5 seconds and then have some time of 6-on-5 for then essentially the next 55 seconds.
This is a big chance for Washington and Lee to capitalize early in this third period as you try to get back into this game. Up a man now. And a good job ending their man down possession over there on defense. Picking up a penalty as well at the end of it.
So the first man up opportunity for Washington and Lee today comes here to start the second half. Generals working around the zone, trailing by 7. For they were held scoreless in that second quarter by the Bullets. This one comes top side for Jack Elliott. His shot too high, and Jack Dalton has to chase it down. Allen for Cardillo. Murphy Hoey the stop in goal.
More of the same now from Hoey as that first half. Really good job coming out with some big saves. His 9th of the game. Really just looking comfortable back in his net.
So JP Mayo navigates through the midfield and tosses it up ahead for Jackson Hearn to complete the clear and get Gettysburg back to full strength. So after each team with the man up chance here early in the third, everyone back to even strength.
Yeah, both teams killing those penalties. Good defense so far from both sides. Start the second half.
See more of a zone look defensively for the Generals. This one over the middle can't be completed to Maroney. Gabe Ryder away with it through traffic. Ryder being berated ahead. Now a chance for Colin Beatty. Beatty going to goal, and he sneaks it in. The Generals draw first blood in the second half from Colin Beatty as they make it 10-4.
And a couple defensive possessions from Washington and Lee here. Able to force a turnover on both of them, and then Beatty realizes that nobody's in front of him. Comes around with his stick around the body of Hoey and gets the Generals going here with a goal. Good start from Washington and Lee. Looking a little more comfortable to start this second half.
A couple of caused turnovers on the defensive end, and the first goal here out the third quarter. It's 10-4. 12:52 to play in the third, and a face-off looming. Goldstein at least wins it and then regains possession after dropping it. Goldstein, one more pass to Kane, the stop with the body there on the shot from Alpaw, and the Generals collect the miss. So Nick DeCane gets his 12th save of the afternoon. And Washington Lee gets the ball back to try and inch closer. Jack Elliott, Joey Allen, James Cardillo, James Haley, Hillis Burns, and Jack Dalton. Cardillo leaving behind the net. Leaves off for Jack Dalton. Now Hillis Burns. Burns will get to his right. Spins back left. Burns, top corner. Hillis Burns scores for the first time today. His second point of the afternoon makes it 10-5.
And Burns there trying to prove a point, it looks like almost out there. Had a little bit of a rough first half, committed the penalty. Obviously, in that time, just working his way around, able to hit the spin move from his left side, throw that one in. Powerful shot. And the Generals get it going with a couple goals, starting to build that confidence now. The more goals they score, the more that they'll believe that they can come back in this one. So certainly a good start for Washington and Lee in the first 3 minutes.
Gabe Ryder swoops in from the wing to pick up the faceoff for the Generals, who get possession right back. So a couple of defensive stops, a save from Nick DeCane, back-to-back goals for the Generals, and now with possession in a 10-5 game. All the changes to be made in the midfield. So it comes to Jack Dalton near side. Cardillo. Behind the net for Haley. Quiet so far today, no points for the Generals' top scorer, James Haley. Elliott will go back to Burns. Dalton sees a double team. Able to work it over for Burns. Burns to the left, bounce shot wide.
Generals looking much more patient here on offense. It's where they found some of their success in that first half, and saw that last goal from Burns coming off a methodical possession, and they're doing it again here.
Elliott going to his right. Jack Elliott stopped by Hoey. 10th save of the afternoon for Murphy Hoey. Now a transition opportunity for Will Headley. I'll leave off for Dunleavy. Gettysburg able to clear forward. Kessler with it behind the net, being pestered by O'Keefe. We've played 5 minutes here in this third period. 2 goals from the Generals have made it 10-5. There once was a 10-3 Gettysburg lead at the halftime break. Ayers. Back and forth with Dunleavy. Ayers. It's a switch onto the short stick. Kessler. Top of the zone. Dunleavy, one more pass out in front. DeCane gets the stick there to make the stop.
And DeCane showing us more of the same from that first half. Just very alert, very aware, and more good reaction from him. Tough saves, but able to come up with it.
A couple of times, Gettysburg has gotten a high percentage look from in front of the net, and DeCane has answered the call. This one takes a deflection as it goes wide. 45 seconds left on this possession for Gettysburg. Donlevy cycles it over for Maroney and gets it back. Donlevy loads up and misses. Give him a reset on the shot clock there. And I'll say that somehow DeCane got a piece of that one.
That one looked wide to me, so interesting call on the reset, but of course Gettysburg will take it.
DeCane another stop. Second effort. This time he won't be able to stop it. Jackson Barrel with the putback goal for Gettysburg.
And Gettysburg able to maintain possession there for a couple minutes, keeping the pressure on Washington and Lee, and eventually, it's tough to hold it, keep it to Kane, just unable to get to that top corner. And Gettysburg able to get their first goal of the second half and start to build their confidence back up.
Third goal of the day for Jackson Barrel. The freshman attackman's had a hat trick, his 38th of the year. He has the Bullets ahead by 6 once again. It's 11-5.
Still a lot of positive things to take away from that possession for Washington and Lee. Defensively, they didn't break right away, but the consistent pressure of Gettysburg was able to get to them, but still positive signs to take moving forward.
Tyler Spano wins the faceoff, loses it. Still a scramble for it on the turf. All three players in the area. Now Moore going to try and join the fold. One player pushed over by the Generals, and we'll get a hold call against Gettysburg, which will give possession to Washington and Lee.
And Gettysburg don't seem to like that call. Coach Toner trying to get an explanation from the ref. Just hands up in the air right now, just confused. It's just chaos there on the face-off attempt, but WNO will come away with it.
Robert Bath, Byron Newman, Riley Albricks. Infield trio here for the Generals. Newman across the middle. Slots home another Generals goal. Third goal of the third period here for Washington and Lee. Makes it 11-6.
Yeah, Newman had a couple good chances in that first half. Able to find another one here. This time slots it right in the top corner, and Washington and Lee looked like they found themselves a little bit here on offense. Still down 5 goals. Certainly a big hill still to climb. They started to crack this Gettysburg defense that had so much pressure on them and made it so difficult in that first half.
Another face-off looming here between Goldstein and Spano. Goldstein has held his own at the face-off X. As Tyler Spano comes away with this one, Goldstein with that loss drops to 4 for 9, but he'll take close to 50% there against the All-American in Spano.
And he really struggled. Talked about earlier in that first matchup against Spano. A much better showing from him today, so certainly building his confidence as well at the spot.
So we'll see a little bit of a change here for the Generals. Joey Allen rotates in on attack. Byron Newman gets a shift here with Cardillo and Elliott, and he scores again. Byron Newman heating up. Back-to-back goals makes it 11-7.
Yeah, Newman once again able to find a good look. And that one coming again off a nice spin move that he puts on the defender. Not on a spin move, but sort of a jump shot, if you will, on that one. And Hoey now getting beat on a couple of these shots, and the Generals clawing their way back into it.
And that is like instant gratification as a coach. You make one little lineup change. You like the effort Newman gave you on his first goal. He gets a quick shift right back, and he scores for a second time in 30 seconds as he makes it a 4-goal game, 11-7. Gettysburg wins the ensuing faceoff on the win from Tate Custer against Israel Michelson. The first faceoff taken by someone not named Tyler Spano goes by the way of Gettysburg. And now the Bullets not seen their lead as few as 4 since early in that second quarter. Have it at an 11-7 game.
You gotta think, they gotta feel like they haven't really had a ton of possession.
Savoy rings one off the side of the net.
This possession's really been dominated by Washington and Lee in this period. When Gettysburg has had the ball, the Generals have been able to force a couple turnovers and just generally quick possessions. The last one, they held it for a while, but other than that, it's really been all Generals.
This one, a high pass, swipe after it with the stick by O'Keefe, and he scoops up the ground ball. So the defense causes a turnover, and the Generals can't clear it. Blair Brennan lost an edge there on the turf as he slides out and can't catch the ball on the far side of the field.
And talking about unforced errors, seeing that from Washington and Lee there, giving Gettysburg another chance here on offense.
So with 6 minutes to play in the third and an 11-7 lead, Gettysburg in front of W&L. Dunleavy over for Myers as he gets it back. Gettysburg cycling it around the horn. Mack. Back and forth with Myers. Alpaw swoops one on the turf to Kane. Another stop. At 16 saves now for Nick DeCane in goal for Washington and Lee.
And DeCane doing just about everything for this Generals defense. He's really feel like he's galvanizing the team with some of these big stops and giving them the confidence to keep moving forward. And for Gettysburg, frustrating them a little bit with how effective he's been in the net.
As soon as Washington and Lee completes the clear, trying to fire up his own bench after the play. Washington and Lee with the ball down by 4. 5 minutes left here in the third. Joey Allen. Gonna spin his way free, gives off for Jack Elliott. Elliott. Now for Hillis Burns. Burns. Around here is James Haley. Haley trying to feed Cardillo. That one read immediately by Marquet. Bad pass on the clearance. And Allen gets it right back for the Generals. So a failed clear there by Gettysburg gives W&L second life after the turnover.
Yeah, really good double team to start that from Gettysburg to win possession. Then the Generals just aware of a bad pass there.
Another one from Haley, intercepted that time by Frank Barbera.
I'm not even sure if Barbera was looking that direction. His net, or his stick rather, was facing that way and it went right into there, but Barbera with a big defensive play there to Gettysburg back on offense.
Gettysburg will cycle in Luke Barbera, Nicholas Limberg, and Matt Michelik. Michelik for Dunleavy. Next side, Alpaw. Alpaw has it stolen away by Chris Datz. The defense flexing its muscles from both sides here in the third quarter.
And that's a string of turnovers now from both sides.
Almost another as Haley had trouble with that pass from Elliott Cohen. Joey Allen shoots and a save from Hoey. Rebound picked up by the Generals. Here's Burns with some space. Hillis Burns scores. Washington and Lee cuts it to 3. It's 11-8.
And the Generals now are the ones taking the initiative, forcing the issue on offense. Quick ball movement. Hoey was a little bit out of position there. You think just trying to settle back into his spot, but Burns left all alone, and he's just far too accurate of a shooter to be left alone like that. The Generals really executing well in this start of this second half and find themselves only down by 3.
It's an 11-8 game, and Tyler Spano wins the face-off for the Generals. Spano right to goal, over the net. A great look there for Spano right off the face-off.
And Spano there tripping over at the end of that one. Maybe his momentum just carrying him a little bit too much there on the high shot, but another big face-off win, and the Generals are really starting to mount the pressure here.
Riley Albricks with it for the Generals. It's been the most lively the W&L offense has looked here today. 5 goals here in this third period. After being shut out in that second quarter, trailed by as many as 7, it is now a 3-goal game. 2.5 minutes to play in the third. Joey Allen for James Cardillo, and there's another. It's all Generals here in the third. They cut it to a 2-goal game. It's 11-9.
And these passes are really flowing together well right now for Washington and Lee. Almost not even thinking about it, just natural, fluid, great teamwork. And Cardillo wide open there, finishing that one off, and Washington and Lee going on a huge run here.
Timeout, Gettysburg. The Generals have outscored the Bullets 6-1 in the third quarter, and it's now a 2-goal game with 2:22 to play here in the third.
Yeah, Washington and Lee were going to have a big third period if they wanted to get back into this one, and that's exactly what we've seen so far. Offensively, executing, firing on all cylinders, good passes, a little bit of turnovers here and there, but both teams really struggling to hold on to the ball at times. And then on the other side of the ball, only giving up that 1 goal so far in this period, forcing some turnovers. Gettysburg starting to fall into the position that we saw the Generals in that first half, sort of on their back heel, not looking totally comfortable. They're going to have to try to find that first half form and get things going. And going to have to start that maybe with these last 2 minutes, trying to get a good foot forward going into that fourth period. But Washington and Lee are really executing well right now.
And Shane, it was one of the things we talked about at halftime was kind of almost if you were Washington and Lee, you had to make Gettysburg get the pressure back on you. Gettysburg got out to a 7-goal lead. They had no pressure on them whatsoever. It was all on the Generals to try and come back in this game. You now score 6 of the 7 goals here in the third period, and you make it now a 2-goal game with 2.5 minutes to play in the third. And really the whole complexion of this game changes now as things get a little bit tighter as we get close to the fourth quarter.
Well, of course. I mean, the Generals have the confidence to win. And Gettysburg, of course, still have that. They got out to a big lead. There's a reason why they had that big lead. So both teams should be raring to go the rest of this one, and we should have a great finish here, especially if Washington and Lee can continue to fire on all cylinders like this, and if Gettysburg can get their confidence back a little bit.
Goldstein and Spano getting ready for the face-off to resume play. 2:22 left here in the third. It's 11-9. Gettysburg still in front of number 7 Washington and Lee, but the Generals have battled back from 7 down to make it a 2-goal game. A win for Tyler Spano on the face-off for the Generals. Spano gets pummeled from behind and a flag flies, and a man-up chance coming for the Generals.
And Spano drawing a lot of attention there. He's opted to take the shot a lot of times when he gets a face-off win like that. You got to think Gettysburg thought that was coming again, but just a little too aggressive there on defense, and the Generals now with a big opportunity here.
So we'll see what the official call is here. It's going to be a push in the back. So a 30-second penalty coming against number 5, Griffin Howe, which nets a second man-up chance of the day for Washington and Lee. Generals did not convert on their first go-around, but will have an opportunity here. Really in a much better spot offensively than they were. They had a man-up chance at the beginning of this period right after they killed off a man down. And so now a man-up opportunity for 30 seconds for Washington and Lee. James Cardillo. Now Hillis Burns. He goes low. Hoey makes the stop in goal. 12th save of the day for Murphy Hoey. And a big one on the man up there.
And Hoey's been really good with the low shots the Generals have put on, using his legs, using his body to make the goal smaller than it seems, but a big play there.
The Generals force a turnover. It's Jack Elliott, and his shot goes wide. Hoey with the extension out of the goal to win back possession. And just like that, Gettysburg is back to full strength.
And towards the end of this third period, you really felt the energy from both teams just skyrocketing. At the end of that second half, the Generals were really dejected, it sort of felt like, on the field, but both teams now really playing with a lot of energy and flying around the field.
Dunleavy having to turn it in the offensive end for Gettysburg as they could get a midfield unit change here. Just over a minute left in the third and a 2-goal game. Stokes Myers possessing for the Bullets. Dunleavy at X for Barrel. He's had a hat trick so far today. Dunleavy around here for Hearn. Goes back to Dunleavy, and now Myers again. Errol with 20 to shoot at X. Kessler walks into a try. DeCane the stop. Illumater will look to clear it through the middle. His pass knocked away, intended for Lehman. Loose ball after it, and the Bullets get it back.
And again, another turnover from Washington and Lee. It's their third of this period, or rather fourth.
It seems like Gettysburg maybe going to try for one last chance before the third period. Dunleavy closed off, shot gets blocked. Dats picks it up, and they'll say it's a push against the Generals anyways. So with 1.8 seconds left, Gettysburg gets it back. They'll just fire it over the middle. A bang-bang play off the side of the net to end the third. A great look there for Gettysburg at the end of the third period. But we will have a 2-goal game as we head to the fourth. We'll take one more look here at the restart. Just 1.8 seconds left. A good pass to the backside. And Alpaw rings it off the side of the iron.
Yeah, that could have been a big goal for Gettysburg to pick up moving into the fourth, especially how much they struggled in that period, but just off of the bar. But Washington and Lee really dominated that third period, able to slot home 6 goals after having none in that second, only holding Gettysburg to the 1 goal and forcing quite a few turnovers as well. 6 Gettysburg turnovers in that third period. So the Generals sort of flipped the script around in that period. We'll see if that's able to continue to happen in the fourth, or if Gettysburg will start to show some of their earlier game form. But Washington and Lee have certainly made this a game.
Both goalies have had really excellent performances today. Nick DeCane now 18 saves on the day for the sophomore netminder for Washington and Lee. 12 saves from Murphy Hoey for Gettysburg, including a really big one on the man-up chance there against Washington and Lee in the closing minutes of the third period, on which could have made it a 1-goal game.
And you always love to see good goalie play in close games like this. Goalies can be such a big factor for their team, the anchor of their team, and one big save here or there could lead to a transition play. We saw some of that in that period and also in the first half, and can lead to huge goal swings and momentum swings. So certainly great play from both goalies, and that'll look to continue as the rest of this game goes on. They both have to come up big, facing a lot of shots each individually.
Nick DeCane, 18 saves today, matches his career high he set earlier this season against Washington College of Maryland. He had 17 against Gettysburg in the regular season matchup, 18, and 7 of those in that third period. He had 7 saves and gave up just 1 goal in the third period, which also helped the Generals kind of claw their way back into this game. And now we have a 2-goal game at the start of the fourth. Tyler Spano out there for the faceoff against Tate Custer. And Spano wins the faceoff for the Generals here to start the fourth.
And Spano's really found his groove on these faceoffs.
He's going to go right to goal, and he scores! Tyler Spano makes it a 1-goal game. The faceoff man chipping in on the offensive end, and it's 11-10.
And he's won the last 4 or 5 faceoffs, and each time been looking aggressive to get himself in onto goal. This time a little bit slower getting up into the offensive half there, but then puts on the Jets, gets past everybody on the Bullet side, and brings the Generals within a goal.
And what was once a 10-3 lead for Gettysburg at halftime is an 11-10 game just 11 seconds into the fourth. What a third-round matchup you're in for a treat today. A Division III men's lacrosse tournament between Washington and Lee and Gettysburg. The Generals control another face-off here in the fourth quarter as Gabe Ryder tries to bring it ahead. Washington and Lee with possession, down by a goal early in the fourth. So they'll have an opportunity to try and tie the game.
For Gettysburg, it's really early in the fourth, but this is a huge defensive possession. The Generals able to tie, if the Generals are able to tie the game, you got to think their confidence is just going to soar through the roof. And for your own confidence, just getting a stop here, keeping your lead, could prove paramount as this game continues to wear on.
James Haley stopped by Murphy Hoey. Didn't get all of that shot, did Haley, but Hoey right in position to make the stop. Gettysburg clears it forward. Pressured there is Trainer by the stick of Dats. And Now Gettysburg just looking to ease a little bit on offense and allow them to find their rhythm that they had in that first half.
The Generals have not let them get as many point-blank shots here in the second half. Forcing some longer range ones, which has allowed DeCane to be a little bit more comfortable in net. Certainly coming up with big saves as well. So we'll see if Gettysburg's able to get back inside on this Generals defense.
Kessler for Alpaugh. He's got room to the net, and he bounces it wide. Alpaugh had an opening there, just couldn't convert. 20 to shoot here for the Bullets. Myers knocked back by Donahue. A flag coming against the Generals. As that stick got up high under the mask of Myers, his shot misses the net. And Generals will be going a man down as Gettysburg will have a man-up opportunity.
And the crowd, you hear the reaction from them, not too happy with the call. Stick did get up a little bit high, though. Not crazy contact, but if a referee sees that, they're going to give the call.
So I got a cross-check against Ryan Donahue, and it was a little bit more noticeable because of the fact that it did hit the bottom of the helmet as well. So full 60 seconds on the shot clock and a 1-minute man-up chance for Gettysburg, who have a 1-goal lead here in the fourth over Washington and Lee. Dunleavy in the slot, winds up, and he can't find the net.
And Dunleavy really geared up for that one. Fired that one down low. Still a chance here for Gettysburg, though, and man-up goal could be a big play in this game just to build some confidence back for the Bullets.
Myers, Dunleavy around the perimeter it goes. That short angle try over the net. So still some time here on the penalty against Donahue. So Generals try and kill off the man-up chance for Gettysburg. Another good look for Gettysburg, and they strike. Luke Barbera makes it 12-10 on a man-up goal for Gettysburg.
Yeah, very slim angle there for Barbera to get that one off. He just tried that one a minute ago from the same spot, unable to hit, but then this time on that near post slides it right up into that top corner. And the Bullets now get themselves a goal. Back up to 2 goals as well. Just a little bit of a cushion to prove to be huge in this game.
So Luke Barbera scores just his 5th goal of the season, but a huge man-up goal for Gettysburg to re-give them a 2-goal lead with 12:10 to play in the fourth. On the face-off going early, they'll say was Washington and Lee.
It's a very rare error there from Spano. He'll give Gettysburg another chance here, and it's exactly what Gettysburg probably were hoping for, to get a couple possessions, stop that hot Generals offense, and maybe put some goals up themselves to rebuild their lead.
Gettysburg has scored just twice since halftime. Once leading 10-3, it's now 12-10, but they have the ball after just pushing the lead back up to 2 on the man up. Here's a cutter in front and another Gettysburg goal. That one from Jackson Barrel.
You can see that Gettysburg confidence rebuilding on offense there. Once again, starting to move the ball around, lull the Generals to sleep a little bit, but then a quick cutter in Barrel to the goal. He's able to slot it home, and Bullets now score a couple back-to-back to go back up by 3.
4th goal of the day for Jackson Barrel. He's got a game-high 5 points on 4 goals and an assist. And it's a 3-goal lead again for Gettysburg with 11:31 to play in the fourth. Israel Michelson has to come out for the face-off for the Generals, with Spano getting hurt with a violation on that last go-around. And he wins it for Washington and Lee. Elliott Cohen upended, but James Haley comes away with the loose ball. Burns for Cohen in front. Hoey, a point-blank save. And a stoppage behind the play with a Gettysburg player down. as Murphy Hoey made another incredible stop-in goal.
Yeah, the goalie play from both sides has just been miraculous. And that's just a point-blank shot right in front of the goal, but Hoey using his size, using his frame to make that shot as tough as possible and able to get his stick onto it.
It's the 14th save of the day for Murphy Hoey. 9th double-digit save game of the season, and another incredible play from one of the goalies in today's game. Yes, it's certainly been high-scoring with a 13-10 scoreline, but there has been some really nice saves from both netminders here today.
It looks like the injury there, it's on Marquet. It looked like maybe his forearm there got hit. Some collisions there on that side of the Generals offense. Gotta hope that he's okay. He's able to walk off the field under his own power.
He'll get worked on the Gettysburg sideline. The Bullets trying to clear it up the field now with a 3-goal lead. We saw their 7-goal lead go all the way down to 1, but back-to-back goals here early in the 4th from Gettysburg. Lofted them back in front by 3. They will wait to get situated offensively here. As Kessler brings it down on the near side. Earn behind the goal. Back up top for Myers. Alpaw in the middle, barrel, low shot, saved by DeCane. Has to throw the ball towards the corner to chase after it. He gets knocked off the ball as Gettysburg picks it back up. He knew he really couldn't get the ground ball just outside of his crease. He tried to poke it into the corner and chase after it. And Jackson Hearn regains possession for Gettysburg. Hearn waiting at X. Make his move. Hearn. Round for Myers. Myers over the middle. Cross-handed shot and a save by DeCane. And they'll get another push here against the Generals, which will keep it with Gettysburg. As Kessler was pummeled over.
Yeah, right as that shot was taken, he got knocked over from behind. Though we know fans not happy with that call, but good call from the official.
That was the 20th save of the day for Nick DeCane, a career-high effort from the sophomore goalie for Washington and Lee. His team, though, still trails 13-10 as Gettysburg possesses. An opportunity for Myers, denied. Ground ball fought after, and it looks like a hold call against Gettysburg. Some sorting out there to do, but another stop for Nick DeCane in goal.
Yeah, DeCane's confidence is clearly just soaring right now. Trying to fire everybody up as we speak as well, but the General is just another unforced error.
Spencer Surface trying to find James Haley, turns it over. Now Washington and Lee trying to engage on the 10-man ride. Force a long pass up ahead for Griffin Howe, and he completes the clear for the Bullets.
You really just feel the tension and pressure building in this one. That clock continuing to wind. Just about half of this fourth period left to go. Both teams really feeling the energy of this one, but these last few minutes really been dominated by Gettysburg possession.
Chelik gets it back from Dunleavy around to Lindbergh. Bullets lead by 3. Alpaw can't find the net. 27 seconds left on the shot clock for the Bullets. Lindbergh. Scooping it up is Barrel behind the net. Barrel trying to wrap around. Won't find the net. Chase after the loose ball. Kicked away by Datz. Has to throw it back into play, and he finds a teammate in Duquesne. Washington and Lee will complete the clear, and then Haley loses it. 2 clears and 2 turnovers from the Generals, but Gettysburg gives it right back, and you can feel it. Shane, you talked about the tension. Seems like everyone's gripping the stick a little tight here.
Yeah, a little bit of a fancy pass attempt there from the Bullets. Unable to connect, and then the Generals just losing it. Both teams, seen it at times, just going back and forth with losing possession. Really probably does come down to the fact that both teams are feeling the nerves, feeling the pressure.
Under 7 minutes to play in the fourth. 13-10 Gettysburg. W&L ball. James Haley scores for the first time today. As him and Burns link up, and the Generals bring it back to a 2-goal game.
That was a really smart play there by Burns. He sort of drove right to the goal, trying to draw some of the defenders in on him, and able to sneak around the back. Slot that one home was Haley, and the Generals really starting to feel it now offensively. Get back within 2. A good connection there.
13-11, 6:39 left in the fourth. Number 10 Gettysburg with the slight 2-goal lead over number 7 Washington and Lee. Tyler Spano and Jacob Goldstein on the face-off, and Tyler Spano wins it for the Generals. Spano going straight to goal. He scores for the second time today. Tyler Spano, do it yourself. And it's a 1-goal game yet again.
And again, that time Spano, as we've seen before, going right at the goal. His speed getting past all the midfielders, and then nobody really collapsing in on him, leaving Hoey all alone. And really not much that he could do there. Spano slotting home his second one, and the Generals quickly, 2 goals within 7 seconds of each other, and they find themselves down 1 once again.
This is as close the Generals have gotten it since it was a 1-goal game back in the first quarter. They got it to 1 earlier in this fourth, and then Gettysburg scored 2 quick goals. The Generals respond with 2 of their own right there, as the faceoff is won by Washington and Lee. Spano will give off for Hillis Burns, and again the Generals will have an opportunity to try and tie the game. Hillis Burns for James Haley. Those 2 will exchange passes. Burns for Cardillo, and now Jack Elliott. Haley at X looking for a play. Finds Burns up top. Burns, low shot. Hoey the save. And he's able to collect the rebound with it.
And Hoey once again really strong with the low shots that he's faced. Able to get down, use his whole body to stop that one. And once again, another timely, huge save from Hoey.
His 15th save of the day for Murphy Hoey, as he keeps this a 1-goal game yet again. 15 saves for Hoey, 21 for Nick Duquesne for Washington and Lee. Both goalies have played superb this afternoon. Patrick Maroney with it for the Bullets, giving off for Stokes Myers. 5 minutes left here in the fourth. A 1-goal lead for Gettysburg. Kessler. Ethan Kessler trying to create. Now Maroney. Dunleavy back to Maroney. Maroney bounces it wide. And they'll skip out of play with 9 to shoot.
You have to go quick here for Gettysburg. We've seen them pretty effective in these short time situations. We saw one end of that first half. Almost scored a goal on it. We'll have 8 seconds to do it here.
You'll see Gettysburg already making a midfield change to get some of the defensive midfielders out there. Dunleavy, one last effort. And that'll get a reset for Gettysburg as DeCane got a stick on it. Washington and Lee couldn't pick up the ground ball, and since DeCane got a stick on it, that's an automatic 60-second reset for the Bullets. Gettysburg will nurse it around the offensive zone, trying to kill up a little bit more time off this clock. Kessler for Alpaw. Still 30 left on the possession here for the Bullets. Under 4 minutes left in the fourth. Gettysburg 13, Washington and Lee 12. Stokes Myers looking to create. Myers bounces it. DeCane the stop. Rebound picked up by Jay O'Keefe.
That was great defense there from Villamater, making that a really tough look. The Generals were able to now clear it. And once again, another chance to tie this thing up.
Washington and Lee gets the ball back with 3:20 left after the 23rd save of the afternoon for Nick DeCane. James Cardillo will come back in. Byron Newman, Jack Elliott, Joey Allen, James Haley, and Hillis Burns for the Generals. Looking for a tying goal here late in the fourth. Good back check there, but Allen gets to the loose ball. Burns trying to spin left. It's a switch onto the short stick. Hillis Burns seeing a crowd of defenders in his direction. Slaps it towards the corner. A scrum after it. Haley gets it. Still 20 seconds left on this possession for the Generals. Backside, this is Newman. Byron Newman stopped by Hoey.
And Burns there was facing a triple team almost. He slapped that one into the corner. Able to kick it around, and then Hoey at the end of that coming up with another massive save.
16th save of the afternoon for Murphy Hoey for Gettysburg. And the Bullets yet again able to preserve their 1-goal lead. Each team making changes here to get situated on this possession. Gettysburg knows the clock is on their side. Under 2 minutes left in the fourth. Patrick Maroney will cycle it out wide for the Bullets. Here at the scoreboard to see how much time's left. And now less than 30 left on the shot clock here for the Bullets. Maroney will go to work with 20. Barrel at X. Jackson Barrel has had the hot hand today. Up top for Dunleavy. Dunleavy stood up by Azell. Dunleavy scores! Jack Dunleavy finds the back of the net for the first time today. And the senior captain delivers for the Bullets.
And Dunleavy couldn't have come up with a bigger time to find a goal. Really catching everybody off guard with that shot. I wasn't even expecting to throw it in, but he had a slight angle. And DeCane been able to come up with so many big stops, but unable to reach that one. And Gettysburg find themselves up 2 again now with less than a minute and a half.
So a 2-goal lead for Gettysburg with 1:18 left. As the Bullets get a massive goal from Jack Dunleavy. Spano on the face-off, lost his balance and possession. Face-off win to Gettysburg. Cohen pressuring Mayo, and Gettysburg will use its final timeout. The Bullets have the ball with 64 seconds left in a 2-goal lead.
A huge face-off win there. Just when they needed it most, Gettysburg able to come up with that one. Spano losing his footing. It's 120 of the face-offs today the Generals have as a team, but when it matters most, Gettysburg coming up with a big one there. Now the Generals are really going to have to force the issue. Try to come up with forcing a turnover or something to that effect and get 2 quick goals now with just about a minute to go.
1:04 left in the fourth. Gettysburg, who once led this game by 7, had their lead all the way cut to 1 2 different times by the Generals, but Jack Dunleavy just scored a massive goal for the Bullets, as he scored with 1:18 left to give them back a 2-goal lead. Gettysburg then won the ensuing faceoff, takes their final time out with possession in the attacking third of the field, and just over a minute remaining here in the fourth.
The Generals have overcome a lot of adversity today that the Bullets have put on them, but this would have to be a big comeback for them. Certainly not impossible. 2 goals certainly can happen in less than a minute. We've seen a lot of that today from both sides, but Gettysburg are going to do everything that they can to keep the ball away from Washington and Lee.
So the Generals break the huddle. The Bullets to break their huddle as well as they talk through some strategy and hear how to try and preserve a 2-goal lead for just 64 seconds. 64 seconds can certainly feel like an eternity. Never seen a 2-goal cushion. Gettysburg will have the ball. Dunleavy, Kessler, Myers, Farrell, Mayo, and Alachandran, the 6 players the Bullets put on the offensive side of midfield. The Generals will leave the net empty here as they engage on the 10-man ride. Gettysburg will throw it to the far corner. And they'll say that that was a shot attempt so they could bring it back into play. Colin Beatty trying to force Kessler to turn it over. Him and Ryder sidestepped as Myers possesses. Less than 50 seconds left now. Generals needing to get the ball back, and they're going to get it. Ellis Burns picks it up at midfield on the errant pass. Burns, his pass chopped down. Elliott Cohen scoops it up. The Generals bring it forward and take a timeout. Washington and Lee gets a turnover, but they use nearly half the time that was left on the clock. And now with 33.7 seconds left, the Generals have the ball in the offensive end, needing a score, a face-off win, and another goal to tie this game.
Yeah, and all that within 30 seconds. So again, certainly not impossible, but it's going to be very difficult for them to pull this off. Going to have a really good design drawn up out of this timeout, and then another one again on the faceoff. You got to think that if Spano gets a good look on that ensuing faceoff, if there are to score that first goal, that he's going to go right at it. But first comes that first goal, and Gettysburg going to have to be airtight solid on defense. You got to think that they're drawing up their scheme right now as well.
Team's talking things over. Just over 33 seconds or so left in this one. 14-12 lead for Gettysburg. Washington and Lee with possession, down by 2 goals in the attacking third. Needing a pair of tallies here in the final 30-plus seconds to force overtime against Gettysburg. That'll be Allen, Elliott, Newman, Haley, Burns, and Cardillo for the Generals. As Murphy Hoey retreats back to his crease with 16 saves on the afternoon for Gettysburg in goal. Joey Allen will trigger it in from the far side of the field. Wait for everyone to get situated here, and Allen brings it back in. It's go time here for the Generals, down by 2 with 30 seconds left. Elliott behind the net. Comes here for Burns, tries to find a cutter over the middle. One more pass, Allen, he lost the hold of it. The Generals will track it down in the corner, 15 seconds left. Another desperation try. Allen stopped by Hoey. Gettysburg will throw it the length of the field. And that'll roll out of play with just about 3 seconds left. The Generals will toss it the length of the field, and Gettysburg is moving on to the quarterfinals. The Bullets survive a second half comeback attempt from Washington and Lee. And number 10, Gettysburg, downs number 7, W&L, 14-12 here at Wilson Field.
Washington and Lee did their best comeback attempt from that rough first half. The Bullets got out to that 10-3 start in that first half, a dominant performance that we saw, but then Washington and Lee came back the big third quarter. 6 goals coming in that third, and they really only held the Bullets to just that 1. They found themselves down by 1 goal early in this fourth, and then again towards the middle. Washington and Lee unable to execute in those final moments. A big goal scored in the last couple minutes by the Bullets, and they're able to come away with a 2-goal victory after a really solid first half and a very, very clutch fourth quarter for them.
Yeah, the dagger of the day comes courtesy of senior captain Jack Dunleavy for Gettysburg, as we'll take one more look. There's a 13-12 game with about a minute and a half left, and then Dunleavy gets this low shot for his first goal of the day. The leading scorer had just 1 point all afternoon, and he scores the big insurance goal for Gettysburg with just a minute and 18 seconds left as the Bullets advance to the quarterfinals for the first time since 2022.
And I would say that's a huge storyline of this game today. Gettysburg coming with a lot of big, timely plays on the other side of the ball there. Hoey in net, coming with time and time again, big save after big save, especially towards the end of that game. And at the other side of the ball as well, DeCane, a commendable effort for the Generals, 23 saves on the day, 17 from Hoey. Both goalies were absolutely exceptional. But Hoey gets the best of DeCane in that one and the Generals, and they come away with the Sweet 16 victory.
Gettysburg is on to the quarterfinals. They improved to 15-4 on the season. The 10th-ranked Bullets have a showdown against number 1 Tufts next weekend, as Tufts got past St. Lawrence by a final of 14-8. It'll be Tufts against Gettysburg and Christopher Newport against Bowdoin. As those games will most likely be played at Tufts next Saturday and Sunday, as the Bullets get back to the quarterfinals for the first time in 4 years. And the Generals have their season come to a close with a 17-4 record, falling on their home field here in the third round by a final of 14-12.
And for Washington and Lee, it was a rough first half, and that's probably the story of this game, is just their inability, especially in that second quarter, to get a whole lot of offense going. They did their best to try to make up for it in this second half. Looked really good in that third period, but that first half for Gettysburg and their strong play towards the end of this one proved to be the difference. Certainly both teams played an excellent game today, and as I said earlier, both goalies were just absolutely superb.
So the Generals come up short against Gettysburg as they rallied in the second half. They were down 7 goals at halftime. It was a 10-3 Bullets lead. They outscored Gettysburg 9-4 in the second half, but it was not enough in the end as they come up short 14-12 the final, as Gettysburg gets it done over Washington and Lee. And so that puts a wrap on the Generals' season, 17-4, the second most wins in a season in program history. But they also come up on the short end of things, and we'll see their season end there. And for this senior class, it's a couple of quarterfinals appearances, a pair of conference championships and national semifinals appearance last year, and a host of big players that will be missed by this Generals program, headlined by Hillis Burns. 4 points in the losing effort today for him, 2 goals and 2 assists. He finishes his career with 152 goals, 95 assists for 247 points, the third most in program history. He becomes the 6th player in program history to reach 150 goals. So he headlines a very decorated senior class to the Generals, who have their careers end here at the hands of Gettysburg.
Yeah, it's certainly always melancholy moments. We have to say farewell to the senior players playing in their final collegiate lacrosse game, but certainly so many memories and moments to look back on throughout their careers. And as you talked about, Ryan, certainly great success that they've experienced in the ODAC and in the NCAA tournament. And just a lot to take from a full career, especially the guys like Hillis Burns, like you mentioned, so impactful for this Generals team on the field and in other ways off the field. And they certainly will be missed for the Generals. And obviously for Gettysburg, their seniors getting a chance to move on and keep fighting in this NCAA tournament against Tufts.
Jackson Barrel, a game-high 5 points, 4 goals and an assist to lead the way offensively for Gettysburg. 17 saves for Murphy Hoey in goal for the Bullets as they advance past Washington only with a 14-12 win. Nick DeCane makes a career-high 23 saves in a losing effort for the Generals. Hillis Burns has 4 points to lead the way on 2 goals and 2 assists for Washington and Lee. That'll wrap it up for us here on NCAA.com, and for third round action of the 2025 NCAA Division III Men's Lacrosse Tournament between Washington and Lee and Gettysburg. The Bullets of Gettysburg College advancing to the quarterfinals of the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2022. They get it done over Washington and Lee by a final of 14-12. and an excellent back-and-forth game between the Bullets and the Generals. That puts a wrap on the season for Washington and Lee. They finished the year with a 17-4 overall record, the second most wins in a season in program history. Gettysburg improves to 15-4 and has a date with number 1 Tufts and the quarterfinals next Saturday. And then they were to advance past that, get the winner of Christopher Newport and Bowdoin in the semifinals as Gettysburg plays on here in 2025. For all of us at the NCAA.com and here at Wilson Field in Lexington, Virginia, my broadcast partner Shane Riley, I'm Ryan Connell saying thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of the 2025 season. Gettysburg gets it done over Washington and Lee. The 10th ranked Bullets win it by a final of 14-12.